Welcome to today's new family orientation session. Before we begin, we have a few important housekeeping notes to cover.
La traducción al español para esta sesión es proporcionada por Wordly, una herramienta de traducción en tiempo real. Para acceder a este contenido en español, haga clic en el icono del globo en la barra de herramientas del lado derecho de la pantalla y seleccione Español en la lista de opciones de traducción.
Today's session is being recorded. Recordings will be available approximately 3 hours after the session ends. You can find session recordings in your session schedule or in the on-demand page of the Hub. To ask questions during this session, click on the Q&A button in the panel to the right of your screen. We'll answer as many questions as we can, either during the session or at the end. You can submit questions anonymously. Please don't share any personal information in questions, as questions will be visible to all guests. If you see a question in the Q&A panel that you want to see answered, upvote it to let our team know. Lastly, we ask that you please join us in upholding and promoting UC San Diego's principles of community, and in keeping our community free from any and all forms of discrimination and harassment. Now let's get started with today's new family orientation session.
Hello, and welcome to Financial Aid and Scholarships Family Orientation webinar. My name is Rashenda Hutchison. I am an Assistant Director here at the Financial Aid and Scholarships Office, and today I will be giving you your financial aid presentation. Now, my goal is to provide you with some really great information so you can understand how the financial aid process works. And what to expect throughout the year. So it all begins with understanding our timeline. Right now, we are preparing the 25-26 financial aid offers, and those will be rolling out within the next couple of weeks. Students, you want to keep an eye out on your UCSD email. That is where we will send you a notification to let you know that your financial aid offer is ready for review. You students are going to be enrolling in your classes, and pretty soon you'll see that fees are going to show up for you on your Triton Link account. You will also see pending financial aid that's going to show up, and it's going to tell you this is how much we're expecting to come in to be applied towards those fees. Financial aid will pay out prior to your fee deadline as long as all of your documents are turned in on time and everything has already been completed. If you have any remaining balance, that is what you want to be paying by the fee deadline date. If you have more than enough financial aid to cover everything and you're expecting a refund, refunds will start happening by the first day of class. And this is something that you can expect to happen each quarter. So after you enroll in classes, you're going to expect to be billed for those classes. You'll expect to see what financial aid is going to pay and how much you have left over to pay. Or if you're going to be getting a refund, you'll be expecting that refund by the first day of each quarter. Same thing will happen at the beginning of winter, same thing at the beginning of spring. So this is how the timeline and the rotation works. Now, when you receive that email notification from us, you want to go straight to my Triton Link and go to Financial Tools, down to Financial Aid, and choose the 25-26 academic year. And that is where you will start to view your offer. Now, the first thing that we're going to show you is the required documents and tasks section. This is hugely important, students. Anytime I have something that I need from you, I'm going to post a message here for you, a link here for you to follow. So this is where you want to come to see what's going on with your financial aid and what your status is. In this case, Manage Awards is available. That means the student is it's ready for them to view their financial aid offer. There's also a link there about student health insurance plan. All students are going to be billed for our UC San Diego health insurance. If you have your own health insurance, you can go through the process of waiving out of that charge. There is more information on that link about that process. There is a deadline for that, so you want to make sure that you meet that deadline, and then you can have those charges waived. You don't have to be billed for it if you have your own health insurance. The next section that we come to is the important information section. Now, this right here is telling you students you can enroll in direct deposit. This is the link that you can follow to go ahead and set up your direct deposit account. Remember, this is the way that we are able to provide you with any funds or refunds that we have for you. This puts the money into your account in 2 to 3 business days. This is the fastest way for you to be able to get your refund. We encourage you to set that up now and get it ready. We can never take money from your account. We can only put money into your account. So it's a safe thing to do. Go ahead and set that up now. Students, if you want us to be able to speak with your parents freely about your financial aid, if your parent wants to call in and talk to us, they have a question, and you want us to just be able to share all information, we need to have a consent to release form on file. Otherwise, if your parent calls in, we're only going to be able to give them general information. So if you really want us to be able to release everything to them, you can fill out that consent to release form and provide that permission to us now. We do provide you with a link to the Federal Student Aid website, a link to our forms page online. Parent Plus loan request information is listed here. And then our document submission tool link is down here at the bottom. Now, anytime you have a document that you need to turn into our office, you can do it through that document submission tool. The next section starts to talk about that Manage Aid drawer. This is where we are providing you with the information that we're using to set up your financial aid offer. We then provide you with the financial need section, and this shows you the cost of attendance. This shows you the student aid index, which is the information that we received from your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application. And then finally, you'll see the financial need section there. There is a blurb that says your current financial aid offer is based on your housing status of living on campus. Students, if this has changed, and only if this is wrong, you can submit a ticket to our office and we can update your housing status. So to do so, you would select financial aid and scholarships. You can say that it is a financial aid offer inquiry and that it is a housing status validation. So you want to validate that housing, let us know, oh, just kidding, I'm really going to be living with my parents instead. We can get that from you via the ticket, and we will make an update to your financial aid offer and provide you with another or a revised financial aid offer. So only if your housing status is has changed, or you know it's not really going to be that for the year and you want us to make that change for you now, you can definitely do a ticket. There's another blurb that says, please accept your financial aid offer at least 10 days prior to the billing due date to ensure that your financial aid pays out on time. We encourage you to accept or decline your aid early and just get it done. And the reason why is because we want to make sure that your financial aid pays out when it's supposed to, so that you're not dropped from your classes. If you are choosing to accept loans, you want to make sure that you do that early, because there's some additional documents that you have to complete for the loan to be able to pay. So again, you want to do this at least 10 days before the due date. The next section is the actual financial aid offer. And this is what you students and families, this is what you all will be looking at. You're going to notice the type of aid that is being offered is going to be listed on the left. The total offered amount for the whole year is listed. What has been accepted, the total accepted, will be showing you there. And then the total for each quarter. So what you can expect in fall, winter, and spring will be listed. As we progress through the year, you'll notice the total paid column will start to get filled. So if we have already paid full aid, you'll notice 4812 will be sitting there in the Cal Grant showing as paid. The status section, and here for this student, we see the Cal Grant is unconfirmed. That's showing there is something we can do to help with that. This will also show you if you have gone through and accepted or declined something. Anytime you have a grant or free money, we're going to automatically accept that for you. So for this Cal Grant, we will eventually confirm that for the student once they show up on our roster. Students, you will have to make a decision about work study. If you want to work throughout the school year, you can accept that. If you're going to be taking a student loan, you can go through the process of accepting it there. If you have a loan amount that's showing there, but you're like, oh, I don't need that much, I only want this much, you can accept a lesser amount as well. In any event, you're going to go through each of those options and decide if you want to accept or decline, and then confirm and submit your selection. For those of you that are seeing an unconfirmed Cal Grant, there is something that you can do right now. Take the steps on your own. You can log into Web Grants and make sure that our school code is listed on your Web Grants there. If you notice our school is not listed, our school will not receive your information on our roster. So you want to make sure that UCSD is listed there for you in Web Grants. Every once in a while, there may be an additional form that you need to complete. You want to do that ahead of time, and that will ensure that you end up on our roster as well. So again, we'll automatically confirm those for you. Loan options. Now, you students are going to be seeing some different types of loans out there. There are federal loans, university loans, dream loans. For federal loans, students, you may be offered a subsidized or an unsubsidized loan. The subsidized loan is your better loan. That one there is going to have an interest rate at 6.39%, but the interest for this loan doesn't start until 6 months after you're done with school, or if you just stop going to school altogether, then 6 months after that, that's when the interest will begin. The unsubsidized loan has a 6.39% interest rate that starts immediately while you are in school. So that loan will start to grow while you're here. Parent Plus loan, that has an interest rate at 8.94%, and that also starts immediately while the student is in school. For these student loans, the subsidized and the unsubsidized loan, students, you do not start making payments back on that loan until 6 months after you are done with school, or if you stop going to school. Parent loans, you start repayment while the student is in school. We do have a university loan, and if you're offered a university loan, that one has a 5% interest rate. The interest starts 9 months after school, and that's also when you start making repayments on that loan 9 months after school. And then if you are a DREAM student and you're being offered a DREAM loan, then you will notice a 6.39% interest rate that will be starting 6 months after school, and the payments for that loan is the same as well. All right, this is where I want you all to start to think about what you're going to need, and use this to help you decide what to accept or decline on your financial aid offer. So if you go in, you can review the cost of attendance page on our website. And this is where you're going to find some of those main elements of some of the things that you may be billed during the school year. For example, all students are going to be billed for tuition and fees. So no matter what, you're going to be billed for that. It is only if you are living on campus that you'll be billed for housing and meals. If you are living off campus, then you're not going to be billed for that. But you may want to consider how much it's going to cost you for the 9-month period and make sure you have enough financial aid to help you cover that. So those are the things that you want to start thinking about in relation to our cost of attendance. Students, keep in mind, if you are living on campus, the total that you will be paying will be based on your housing contract and what you have selected there. So if you're living in a single, a double, a triple, like those things will determine how much you're really going to be paying to be living on campus. You want to take those totals. So your true tuition and fees total plus housing. You want to consider that, and you want to make sure you have enough to cover those things, because for sure, those things is what you will be billed for. Now, if we are looking at the cost of attendance and we're looking back at that financial aid offer and we're kind of doing a comparison, this is what I want you to remember. The totals that you're seeing is for the year. Okay, so $20,000 for the whole year tuition, $19,000 for on-campus housing in this cost of attendance estimate here. So in this case, this student would need about $39,000 to make sure they have enough to cover everything. Well, if I'm looking back at my financial aid offer and I'm going through and I want to add up all of the free money that I have, I can see here, okay, I've got about 14,000 from that Cal grant. I've got this Pell Grant money, that UC grant money. That totals about $23,000 free money. And now I know I'm going to need a little bit more help with at least $15,000 worth of something. I need a little bit more help. Well, I haven't accepted any loans, but if I think about it and I go through and I'm like, okay, I will go ahead and tap into that subsidized loan and that unsub loan and that parent loan, that's going to give me another $10,000. And then if I'm thinking about this, that truly means I'm going to need help maybe with $5,000 for the whole school year that's not covered in this financial aid package. That $5,000 splits up into quarters. So really what that turns into is $1,700 a quarter. That's not covered by this financial aid package. And so that's kind of how it goes. So you're going to take, whatever your charges are, you're going to subtract the financial aid money that you're going to be receiving, and then whatever is left over is what you're playing with. Sometimes there's nothing left over. Sometimes you can, you never know how this amount is going to work out, because it really depends on how much your housing and those expenses are going to be. And if you have any savings, maybe you have, something already saved up to apply to this. Maybe let's say that it's $1,700 and you're like, oh man, that's still kind of steep each quarter. Well, you could break that up into a payment plan as well. So you want to go through, you want to make sure that you confirm, accept, confirm, decline, whatever you're going to do, and finish that off. If you have accepted a student loan, there's going to be a message that will pop up and it's going to tell you, make sure you go back to the previous page. The previous page is going to show you under that required documents and tasks area, you now have entrance loan counseling, and you now have a master promissory note that needs to be complete for your loan to pay. Students, you have to do those two things to make sure that loan money comes into the school on time. Once you do that, you're good. The master promissory note will last you for 10 years and you're good to go. For those of you who have accepted work study, you will then have the opportunity to find a job and get hired and earn some money while you are in school. This is your opportunity to earn a paycheck every 2 weeks. The way work study works, half of your salary is covered by your employer and the other half is covered by the work study program. This is a lovely way for you to gain work experience, gain some contacts here on campus. This is a great opportunity for you to work on or off campus. We know that work study positions are awesome because they do allow you to work around your school schedule. We know that school is the most important thing, and so work study positions will work with you on that. So if you have gone through and you accepted work study on your financial aid offer, you can go through the process of getting started to use that. The way work study, you're going to go to the career.ucsd.edu website. They use the handshake portal, and that's where you'll put in all of your information, like your resume information, and then that's where you'll start the process of searching for work study positions. For those of you that have your own health insurance and you want to waive out of the health insurance, you can do so through the Student Health Services Office. New incoming students can apply for that waiver, but the deadline is September 14th. They do have a late waiver option, but that only goes from September 15th through the 20th. If it's after September 20th, you can no longer apply for a health insurance waiver. So you want to make sure that if you have your own health insurance and you do not want to be billed health insurance from the school, then you complete that waiver with the Health Services Office, and you do so by September 14th. Now, for those students that decide they will be keeping the UC health insurance, we will be adjusting financial aid to assist with that. Now, that can be a variety of things. Maybe that's just offering you additional loan money to help you cover the health insurance charge. Maybe it is offering you a portion of grant money to help you cover that additional charge. But those financial aid adjustments will happen for you later on, once we know which students are keeping the health insurance and which ones have waivers. I did mention earlier, maybe that $1,700 is too much for you to pay at one time. You could set up a trip payment plan. The trip payment plan allows you to pay the quarterly tuition charge in 3 payments. So you can split it up. There's 3 months in the quarter. So you can pay a portion each month and finish off the quarterly tuition charge. Now, TRIP only works for tuition and fees. It does not work for housing. If you wanted to make a housing payment, that's something you would set up with housing. But for tuition and fees, if you have the remaining portion that's due, then that is something you can set up. This is handled through Student Financial Solutions, and so you would go to their website in order to enroll in this plan. Now, enrollment does matter. We want to encourage each student to enroll as a full-time student so that you can receive the max amount of financial aid. Each quarter, you students are going to be required to enroll in their classes, and then financial aid is awarded, assuming that the student is going to be full-time. Sometimes a student may be waitlisted. Financial aid doesn't see waitlisted units, so we may think the student's only in 8 units because they're waitlisted for a 4-unit course. Well, it's going to pretend like, just kidding, we're only going to pay you half of the amount because you're only in 8 units. So keep that in mind when you're enrolling in your classes. If you're waitlisted for a bunch of units, financial aid doesn't see those units. And so you're going to notice, oh no, they're not paying me the max amount that they could be paying. So anytime you are in that enrollment process, if you are actually enrolled in your class, we see it, we're going to help pay for that. Now, we do pay based on the units that you are enrolled in as of what we call the freeze date. The freeze date will always be the second Friday of each quarter. Okay. So by the second Friday of each quarter, whatever units you are enrolled in, we're locking it at that. And that's what we're paying your financial aid based on. So keep in mind, being enrolled as a full-time student, it's important because you do want to receive the max amount of financial aid. There is also something very tedious that happens every quarter. Students, this is something called commencement of academic activity. This is where we ask for your professors to certify your attendance in class. Even though they do not take attendance, we need to make sure that you have actually started your classes in order for you to be able to keep your financial aid. So if you, let's say you're enrolled in 3 classes and we only have received certification that you are in 2 of those classes, you could lose financial aid. And for the portion that we don't see that you're enrolled on. Each quarter, it is important that you are attending your classes at the beginning of the quarter. There may be an assignment that your professor does, or something that they're going to do to certify that you are actually in class. You need to make sure you're doing that. That's going to let us know that you are attending your classes and you get to keep your financial aid in place. This is something that happens every single quarter. So again, you have to start your classes. You need to make sure that your professors know that you are in your classes so that they can certify your attendance so you can keep your financial aid. So those first 2 weeks of class, super important. By the second Friday of each quarter, that's when we start this process. That's when we freeze those units that you're enrolled in, and we pay financial aid based on that. There is also something hugely important called satisfactory academic progress. You must maintain these requirements in order to continue to receive financial aid throughout the years. Okay. As an undergraduate student, you must maintain a cumulative GPA of 2.0 or higher. And you must be meeting PACE. That means that you are progressing, you're passing units. And you can't go over the max time frame, which means that you've completed over or 258 units and you're trying to do more. Those are our requirements for you to be able to continue to receive your financial aid. As long as you are maintaining that GPA, you're passing your classes, you could be on track and you'll be in good standings. Now, there are a few different SAP statuses. There is the good standings where you can continue to receive financial aid. There is the not eligible status, and that means you are not eligible for financial aid. At that point in time, you could complete a SAP appeal. Let us know what's going on and what you plan on doing. As long as your appeal is approved, you can still receive financial aid, but you could be placed on what we call a probationary status, where we're going to say, hey, next quarter will allow you to receive your financial aid as long as you are passing this many units or you're receiving this X GPA for that quarter. As long as you're maintaining that and you're getting your GPA back up, we can work with you. So you could be in a probationary status and still be receiving financial aid. But satisfactory academic progress is something that we are monitoring all the time. So students, to continue to receive that financial aid, need to make sure that GPA remains at a 2.0 or higher. Some hugely important dates and deadlines. So September 3rd, that's when that pending financial aid is going to show up. That's when the billing statement will become available on Triton Link. And so you're going to see those fees. Do not get crazy. Do not freak out. September 3rd is when they're showing you those fees, but your deadline to pay that is not until a little bit later. Okay. USHIP waiver deadline is on September 14th. So for those of you who want to waive out of the health insurance charges, you need to do so by September 14th. And then you will notice the registration fee payment deadline is going to be coming up on September 24th. Okay, that is the date that you want to make sure that your financial aid has paid prior to that and that you have enough money ready to go to pay any remaining balance. Our first day of classes is September 25th, and that's when financial aid refunds are going to be issued. It should be in the student's account as long as everything is set up ahead of time and ready to go. So those are some important dates that are coming up in the month of September. Now, we do have some additional things that are going to be happening throughout the year. Financial aid revisions for health insurance will happen much, probably like within a few weeks into the quarter. So you'll notice that we'll put some financial aid in place for those who are keeping the health insurance. If you have made a housing change or if you are living on campus and then you actually end up moving to off campus, we do have a housing revisions period where we go through, we may be selecting or requesting a lease agreement from you to prove your housing status. But those housing changes with financial aid will take place in the first few weeks as well. Commencement of academic activity, of course, that's happening by the second Friday of the quarter. So students, you want to make sure that you are going to your classes in that first week or those first 2 weeks for sure. Middle class scholarships, if you are expecting to receive a middle class scholarship, those revisions will start to happen and financial aid packages will start to show that. So you'll get a new notification like, hey, there's been a revision to your financial aid, and you'll notice your middle class scholarship has been added. That's going to happen a little bit later on, most likely starting October-ish. If you have veteran benefits, those are things that we can add to your financial aid package. Now, you want to check with the registrar's office and our veterans coordinator there. Make sure that all of your documentation is turned in over there on that side. And then once we have that certified, we can set that financial aid up for you. If you are one of our international students, although we do not offer any federal or university or state financial aid to you, there are some private loan options that are available. You can find that on our website. If you are receiving a private loan, we will be certifying that loan to get the loan money in, but we encourage you to start that process early. So you can start that now. We do have some appeal options that will become available. I'm hoping to put them out August 1st. Special circumstance appeals are actually available now, but cost of attendance, SAP appeals, those things are going to be coming up fairly soon. I apologize. Special circumstance and cost of attendance appeals, those will be coming out August 1st. These are for the, let's say that, oh no, my parent lost income and they're not making as much money as they had in 2023. In 2025, it's going to be much less. You can do an appeal. We can help you out. Let's say, oh no, my parents were married, but now they're divorced and now it's only one parent in the household. You can do an appeal, provide us with that income information, and we can help you out. The cost of attendance appeals, if you are finding, oh, you know, I'm spending way more money on rent and utilities than what's allotted for me in my cost of attendance, you can provide us documentation for that. We can increase your cost of attendance and offer additional loan money. And then SAP appeals, if you need to appeal for satisfactory academic progress, we will automatically put that out for you, and we will let you know that it is available for you to complete right now. So appeal options, they're coming soon. For those first two, SAP appeals automatically will show up for you if it is needed. We also have our continuing student scholarship application. Now, all of you new students entering right now, by the time we get to the winter quarter, you're going to be a continuing student already. So you will be eligible to apply for the continuing student scholarships. Now, these are scholarships that will happen in 26-27. The application period, although it opens in November, it will close in most likely March. So early next year. You don't have much time to complete that scholarship application, but you want to take the time to do so. This is your opportunity to tap into our UCSD scholarships. Those can be those recurring scholarships. Maybe it's $5,000 every year. Maybe it's a $10,000 scholarship. There's all kinds that are available. They're based on all types of things. So it could be based on the college you're in. It may be based on your major or, something that you're interested in, your recreational activities. There's so many different opportunities, and that will open for you all late November, December. We will notify you when it's open, but that's your chance to apply for scholarships for the next school year. And then starting in October is when the new financial aid application will become available. Please get into the habit of completing the financial aid application every school year. So every October it will come out. You want to make sure you get it done before March. Okay. So choose a time, maybe every November, every December, you sit down and you complete this application. You just want to make sure you're getting it done ahead of time, way prior to that priority deadline date, and that you continue to do so every year. So that application is coming out in October. If you are not following us, I don't know what you're doing. No, take the time. Please follow us at UCSD FinAid. We actually post all pertinent information here on our Instagram and our X page. Anytime we have something that's coming up, we will post it here. If there's a brand new scholarship opportunity for you to apply for, it's posted here. We try and do cute videos and tips and information for you students at all times. So all of that you can find from our website. I'm sorry, from our Instagram page. And then anytime that you have questions, please go to our website, to our contact us page, and that is where you will find all of our information. So our office hours will be listed there. There's a link where you can join us for virtual counseling. There's a link where you can do one of those ticket requests. Let's say you want to do a housing update, a housing change, you can do it from there. Our phone number is listed there. Our office address is listed and directions, so you can make it to our office if you want to see us in person. We encourage, if you have questions, to come by, let us know so that we can help you. However, I do want to make this disclaimer. I have thousands and thousands of students and about 13, 14 counselors. So there's not a whole lot of us. If you are choosing to contact us via virtual counseling, then contact us via virtual counseling. But please don't be on the phone, virtual counseling, and doing a ticket all at the same time, because that kind of we can't help all avenues. We can help you via one avenue. So contact us via one avenue. Choose which way you want to do it. If you want to come in the office, we're there. If you want to call, you could call us during those phone hours. Or if you want to wait on virtual counseling to see a counselor, you can do so that way as well. Thank you so very much for your time. We will be going through a little bit of Q&A now. Thanks. Saw a lot of questions in the Q&A, and I just wanted to take a moment to go over some of the more popular questions. One of the ones that's coming up with the most votes is about a change in your family's circumstances. Maybe your family's income is not the same as it was in 2023. Now that we're in 2025, it's going to be completely different. Yes, we have an appeal option available for you. The appeals will become available on August 1st. However, even if you submit your appeal on August 2nd, doesn't mean that it's going to get revised right away. It will still take us a little bit of time to go through and process those. However, we can help you. So for example, I was making $150,000 in 2023, and now I'm only making $50,000 in 2025. That's definitely a situation and a circumstance that we can help you with. We're going to ask for you to complete the appeal form. We're going to ask for you to provide your documentation, and then we will go about making those changes on your FAFSA application for you, and then revising your financial aid offer. So yes, that can happen, and that process does begin. August 1st is when those appeals will become available. I saw a lot of questions about work study. So yes, there are plenty of work study positions. Pretty much every office on campus has a work study position, but there's a lot of students that receive work study. So the competition for it, yeah, it is huge. But it doesn't mean that that's the only job that your student or your child can go for. There are plenty of other regular work positions available for students here on campus. So yes, that can still happen. Our suggestion, because we are in a quarter system and it's a fast-paced environment, the quarters are 10 weeks, so it's super fast, right? You want to make sure that your student is capable of being successful in school, right, before they go looking for a job and then trying to carry on a job as well. So as long as they can handle both of them, then I encourage them start looking for a position early. Maybe they want to fill it out first in the fall quarter, see what school feels like, and then in the winter quarter, start applying for work study positions. They can do that as well. Our number one suggestion is that you accept the work study offer. That means that, yeah, I do want to try and look for a job. It doesn't mean that you have to find one. But if you're offered work study, you want to accept that and designate, an opportunity for you to actually make some money and earn some money while you're in school. I see a lot about what aids, if they can see what aid is offered now. So students, incoming students, you all had received a college financing plan earlier, and that was just an estimate to show you what the financial aid should look like. Your official financial aid offers will become available in the next couple of weeks. They're rolling out. You want to just keep an eye out on that email, your UCSD email. That's where we will send you a notification, and we will let you know it is now time for you to go in and review your financial aid offer. You will click on the link, go straight into my Triton link, and you'll review your actual aid from there. I see some questions about RAFT, and I've seen a lot of questions about student health services, student health insurance. That is not my office. So you would want to contact Student Health Services, or maybe go to one of their presentations that they're offering to you all. What we do on our side is we're going to offer students financial aid. If they are keeping the student health insurance, then we'll go ahead and we will offer additional loan to help out, to help cover that. If you're waiving out of the health insurance, even wilder, we're just going to take that off of your charges, so you won't be charged that. I saw middle class scholarship questions. Now, middle class scholarship, that is not something that you apply for separately. Instead, it's based off of your financial aid application. So the state of California gets that information, and they are the ones who will determine who receives the middle class scholarship. When they send the list over to our office, that's when we will start to award those middle class scholarships to our students. Now, keep in mind, school will start before we even receive the list from them. So typically we don't start awarding middle class scholarship until about October. And then we'll continue awarding October, November, December. So it is very common for it maybe to even be late fall before you see that middle class scholarship show up. You do not have any special applications that you have to complete on your own. It was the FAFSA application that they're looking at to determine if you're eligible for it. So we will automatically award that to students based on the eligibility that we receive from California Student Aid Commission. And I also saw a question about out-of-state student, and if after a couple of years they could qualify for in-state residency, that is something that is going to be handled by the registrar's office. So you can go online and check to see what the recommendations are. Like, you're going to have certain things in place before they're going to consider you a resident. So you can check and see what that is, and that can help you determine if it's possible for you. We had some questions about post 9/11, the GI Bill, and if it will cover the health insurance plan. I do believe it does cover, but you can definitely check with our veterans coordinator, which is housed in the registrar's office, to be 100% sure. There was a question about if there is a specific application or another application that they need to do to receive financial aid. No, it's the FAFSA application. It's a DREAM Act application. One or the other is going to get you financial aid for the year. The one thing to remember is you have to do this every year. So just because we got done with it right now, this coming October, the new application for 26-27 will be coming out, and you'll be going through the same song and dance to do your financial aid application for financial aid the following year. And let's see. Oh, I see a question about what type of information is going to be needed to file a special circumstance appeal. It is based on the situation that you're trying to claim. So for example, if you're trying to say, hey, we receive less income, we're going to ask for you to provide us with what 2023 taxes looked like so we can verify what it was. And then we're going to ask for some type of proof to show what 2025 income is looking like. That may be a paycheck stub that shows this is how much I'm getting, and we can see the year to date, and we can estimate out what the rest of the year will look like. Maybe you just lost your job and you're getting unemployment, and you're providing us with an unemployment stub to show this is how much I'm receiving in unemployment. Those are the types of things that we're going to be requesting for that appeal to go through. And oh, there was it looks like there may have been a little bit of confusion about direct deposit. Now, direct deposit, that is the way that we put money into the student's account. That needs to be in the student's name. You want that to be in your student's account name. Not to be confused with if you are making a payment to pay for your student's tuition, that can come from a parent's account, and you would set that up through Student Financial Solutions in their pay center there. And I do believe that is all of the major questions that we had. Oh, sorry, one more about Cal Grant. Okay, I did mention this. If you are seeing the Cal Grant on your offer and it says unconfirmed, you just want to look on Web Grants, make sure our school code is listed with your information and that, you know, everything shows UC San Diego, and then that should make you good to go. We are automatically going in and we will be confirming those on a rolling regular basis. We're just waiting to receive the official roster from the state of California, and then that will happen. 99.9% of the time it happens way prior to your fee deadline date. So you don't have to worry about it like, oh, I didn't get my Cal Grant confirmed, I'm not going to have money to pay my tuition and fees. We'll make sure it happens prior to that. But your job right now is just to go online and just make sure that our school code is listed. And that's through the CSAC website. And that is pretty much it. I hope this was helpful for you all. Again, if you have questions, you have some concerns, please take the time to reach out to our office. We are very friendly people, and we will get to answering your questions for you. Thank you so much, and have a great day.